So in the coming days, we will sit with the verses of the song gently, not rushing, not dissecting, and let the song, or the verses of the song, soften us from within. Yes. And so tonight, we will begin by touching the theme of the song, humility. And in the days to come, it will gradually, or its meaning will be revealed. So the saints tell us that on the spiritual path, the greatest obstacle is not sin. It is the inner resistance to seeing ourselves truthfully. Humility doesn't mean that one should condemn themselves. No. Humility means that we want to become transparent so that the grace of God can be received within us. This song was chosen because it does not glorify achievement, purity. It does not glorify spiritual stature. What does it glorify? The simple state of a heart. That's it. And that state, more than any external qualification, is what attracts the attention of God. What attracts the attention of divinity. Yes. So, spiritual growth is not only about what we do, it is about what we soften. So over the course of our unlimited lifetimes, our mind has accumulated, or it accumulates impressions. Goodness uplifts us, but the unresolved mistakes, they tend to leave a deeper emotional groove. They tend to leave deeper emotional grooves, rather. And these emotional grooves, what do? They shape our reactions. And consequently, what happens? Our heart becomes hardened instead of becoming humble. That's what happens. And ego does not always appear arrogant. Sometimes it will manifest itself as spiritual dignity, self-respect, subtle superiority, or attachment to one's spiritual practices, or identity, one's identity as a seeker. Yet, any form of self-importance, even a speck, creates distance between us and God. That's what it does. And humility, it opens the heart. Humility allows us to look at ourselves very honestly. Not out of shame, but not with shame, but with tenderness. With tenderness. And so when humility grows, then faith takes root. And when faith takes root, then love blossoms. And when love blossoms, the soul becomes attached to God out of that love. So this inner softening is the very core of spiritual practice. This inner softening of the heart. It is the very core of spiritual practice. Yes. Where the soul realizes that it is never apart from God. In fact, it leans on God with sentiments of trust, with sentiments of faith, with sentiments of surrender. Let me share this in the form of an image. Humility is the soil of devotion. Seeds do not grow in stone. No. Seeds grow in the soil that has been softened, that has been turned, and that has been broken open. The soil is the same. Nonetheless, when the heart is hardened by ego, even spiritual ego, then devotion cannot take root. It cannot take root. Yes. It cannot take root. So humility is not about condemning ourselves. No. Humility is about becoming receptive. Yes. So when the soil of the heart is soft, then what happens? Faith takes root. And when faith grows, then humility blossoms. And when humility blossoms, then flowers blossom. The love blossoms. And when love matures, that is when the soul begins to worship. That is when devotion, it becomes glorified. It becomes glorified. Yes. So this is what humility is. This is what humility is. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ji teaches us through his sacred teachings, and he tells us, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniyah sada harihi. तृण से अधिक नम्र गोविंद राधे, तरु से अधिक सहिष्णु बना दे, सबको दू सम्मान गोविंद राधे, आप मान चाहूं नहीं ऐसी बना दे. राधा गोविंद गीत. So Mahaprabhu ji, because this is what he came to teach in this world to souls like you and I, on the path of devotion, if we really and truly wish to secure divine bliss, divine love, then he tells us that we must be humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, give respect to others without expecting any respect for ourselves. Now, this teaching sounds so simple, almost gentle. Yes. And yet, it is the most difficult to cultivate, to live by. The question is not whether humility is exalted on the path of spirituality or the path of devotion. It clearly is. Then why is it so difficult? Let us try and understand why. There's a force, an inner force, that is an impediment with every step toward humility, that resists humility at every step, and that force is ego. It is the ego. Let's try and understand it more deeply. Imagine a kingdom beneath the surface of the earth, ruling quietly, unseen, yet powerful. In much the same way, the ego forms a subtle empire within us. That's what it does. So what does it do? It shapes our thoughts, our choices. It colors our reactions, and it keeps us from full surrender. Yes. One of the greatest tragedies on the spiritual path is how obsessively we nurture the ego. We treat it like a very fragile, delicate glass sculpture. It's very delicate, very fragile, easily offended, yet dangerously sharp.